The second half of that match starting at 3:55, and from time to time the rest of us hope to drop in sometime between 3:55 and the results sequence beginning at 4:40. Also during this afternoon, of course, we'll be having news from that other cup final, Rangers versus Celtic, and hope to bring you the latest news of the goals as they're scored. Well, now the news headlines, John Langham.
3 youths were killed and 6 others injured, 2 of them seriously, in a 3-car crash at Farnham last night. The Surrey police say it's one of the worst in their records. Firemen, who spent nearly an hour cutting free some of those trapped, said 2 of the cars were so badly wrecked that it was almost impossible to tell what had happened. A big sea and air search off the East Anglian coast ended this morning when a 30-ton racing sloop, missing from its moorings at Burnham-on-Crouch since Thursday, was spotted off the Kent coast. A Navy frigate's going to put a boarding party on her and take her back to Burnham. Police in Ireland are hunting 3 men who held up a mail van near Dublin early this morning and got away with British and American airmail. 1 man in police uniform stopped the van driver, who was attacked by the others. The mail had come off a BA flight from London. The Russian pianist Vladimir Ashkenazy, who was given permission to stay in Britain, is considering an invitation to play in Moscow. His wife says if they do go, they'll come back. The strike of electricians at some BBC television studios continued today. It's over an ETU claim for total union membership among electricians. A BBC spokesman said this morning that it's unlikely there'll be any changes in the scheduled weekend programmes, but there's some delay in rehearsals for future programmes. And those were the news headlines.
Well, now it's time to go to show jumping at Nottingham, Newark rather, in Nottinghamshire, and the Nottinghamshire Area International Show Jumping Trial, in which most of the big show jumping names are competing. Here's Dorian Williams.
Well, in the Area International Trial, 30 of the 40 competitors have jumped, and we have 6 clear rounds. They're most of the tops. We've got David Broom on Wildfire, Harvey Smith on O'Malley.
And that is over 4 volts for Penny Point and retirement. Now number 49, Mr. and Mrs. C.W. Ross's Thunderbird, ridden by...
So Wilfred Cheatham McClure wins his 14th bout as a professional against no losses.
And is still unbeaten. Well, now there'll be racing results from 5 meetings today. The one we're televising live is the big one at Ascot Heath. We're covering the first 4 races on the card, the first one at 2 o'clock. I'm sorry we're a bit late in going over there, by the way, due entirely to the overrun at the start of the programme when we were showing show jumping, which ran on a bit longer than it was scheduled to run on. Anyway, they're on the way down to the post at Ascot now for this first race, the 2 o'clock, the Great Harriet Stakes. 9 of them, as listed in the morning papers. Here's Peter O'Sullivan.
Just leading the parade and about to turn around is Anvari behind.
And Open Celtic still leading by 3 goals to 1. And a hit.
Well, fascinating stuff up there in Scotland. Our commentator was Gordon Mingus. Television presentation was by Bill Stevenson. And we'll let you have the result of that Shinty Cup final later in the programme. Just before we go to swimming, the latest news on the FA Amateur Cup at Wembley, and quite sensational news too. Remember, Wimbledon leading Sutton United by 2 goals to 0. That was the last flash. The latest score is Wimbledon 2, Sutton United 2. So they're level. Well, now it's time to go over to swimming and the British International Trials at Walsall. And there already is a start, and flapping some other competitor, I should think, is our tiny gold medalist from the Empire Games in Poole. Now it's time to go over to swimming and the British International Trials at Walsall. And there already is a start, and flapping some other competitor, I should think, is our tiny gold medalist from the Empire Games in Poole. The presentation was by Philip Lewis. Very quickly, the latest football news. Rangers and Celtic still 1-1 with about a minute left for play. Wimbledon beating Sutton United 3-2 in the FA Amateur Cup final. Let's go through to the printer because I think the Scottish Cup final's gone through. There it is. Very quickly, the latest football news. Rangers and Celtic still 1-1 with about a minute left for play. Wimbledon beating Sutton United 3-2 in the FA Amateur Cup final. Let's go through to the printer because I think the Scottish... presentation was by Philip Lewis. Very quickly, the latest football news. Rangers and Celtic still 1-1 with about a minute left for play. Wimbledon beating Sutton United 3-2 in the FA Amateur Cup final. Let's go through to the printer because I think the Scottish Cup final's gone through. There it is. They must be playing extra time. Celtic 1, Rangers 1. Now down to Division 3. Bradford 3, Reading 2. Reading 4th from bottom of the league table, trying to avoid relegation. Bournemouth 0, Shrewsbury 0. That's in Division 3. Bournemouth now 24 home matches without defeat. Third division again, Brighton 1, Watford 4. Brighton remain third from the bottom. Watford's first away win in 11 matches. This is the fourth division, Exeter 2, Chester 1. Now 3 points between those two clubs in the table. Exeter led Chester by 1 before that match. It's now stretched to 3. Just while this reserve match is going through, Leyton Orient have lost their match in the first division and in fact are now relegated to the second division. That's definite. And in fact, extra time is not being played in the Scottish Cup final. The replay will be a week on Wednesday, I'm told on my headphone. This is the first division, West Ham United 0, Blackburn Rovers 1. Blackburn's first away win in 14 matches. First division Scotland, Raith Rovers 0, Aberdeen 4. Raith establishing a remarkable record. They haven't won a home match in the whole season in the league. Again in the first division, Queen of the South 2, Clyde 2. Clyde third from bottom. Every point means something to them, but they are clear of Hibernian, the club that's chasing them, and just below them. First division Football League, Aston Villa 0, Nottingham Forest 2. Nottingham Forest only lost 1 of their last 5 matches at Villa Park. Division 4, Workington 0, Crewe Alexandra 1. Crewe 5th in the league table, and keeping well in touch with the top 4 for promotion. This is the second division in Scotland, Stranraer 5, Forfar 4. Forfar next to bottom. Can't be very often this season that it's scored 4 goals away from home, but still losing. And there's the bottom club, Brechin 0, Stenhousemuir 0. Again the second division in Scotland, Ayr United 2, Alloa 2. Second division Scotland once more, East Stirlingshire 2, Morton 0. East Stirlingshire second in the league table, a point behind St Johnstone, their result not through yet. First division Scotland, Hearts 3, Hibs 3. Hibs next to bottom, and they remain there. This is the FA Amateur Cup final, and Wimbledon have won the Amateur Cup. Sutton United 2, Wimbledon 4. The Amateur Cup final played at Wembley this afternoon before a crowd of 45,000. Football combination, Ipswich reserves 0, Arsenal reserves 3. Again combination, Luton reserves 0, Peterborough 1. Watford reserves 0, Brighton reserves 0. Second Division Football League, Norwich 1, Newcastle United 2. Newcastle United still keeping in touch with promotion. And in fact, Reynolds, the Wimbledon centre forward, scored all 4 goals for his side when they won the Amateur Cup this afternoon. Canterbury 1, Margate 1 in the Southern League. Gloucester 0, Corby Town 0 again in the Southern League. Southern League again. Just while this one's going through, let me tell you that Everton, the league leaders in the first division, won their match at home by a goal to 0 to stretch their home sequence to 39 without defeat. Spurs rather in second place. They won their home match too, as you saw. And we haven't had the Leicester result through yet against West Bromwich Albion. Well, in fact, we can leave the teleprinter now, just with the Southern League results going through, and give you the classified check.
League Division 1. Aston Villa 0, Nottingham Forest 2. Burnley 0, Manchester United 1. Everton 1, Bolton Wanderers 0. Fulham 3, Birmingham City 3. Manchester City 0, Blackpool 3. Sheffield Wednesday 3, Leyton Orient 1. Tottenham Hotspur 4, Sheffield United 2. West Bromwich Albion 2, Leicester City 1. West Ham United 0, Blackburn Rovers 1. Wolverhampton Wanderers 0, Ipswich Town 0. League Division 2, Grimsby Town against Derby County, late kick-off. Leeds United 3, Luton Town 0. Norwich City 1, Newcastle United 2. Portsmouth against Cardiff City, late kick-off. Preston North End 2, Huddersfield Town 0. Rotherham United 1, Walsall 2. Stoke City against Scunthorpe United, late kick-off. Sunderland 4, Southampton 0. League Division 3. Goal galore 11-2. Third, Count Ricardo 4-1. Lanark, the 3:30, first Panaladies 7-1, second Firefly 5-1, third Tehran Court 7-4 favourite. The 4 o'clock, first Lundy Princess 7-1, second Blue Venom 4-1 co-favourite, third Now and Again 6-1. The 4:30, first Barn Dance 6-1, second Nottingham Bell 3-1 favourite, third March Gone 8-1. Beverley 3:15, first Tuning Fork 6-4 favourite, second Ardent Range 5-1, third Vittorio 10-1. The 3:45, first Vanderlei 100-8, second Cloudy Win 11-4, third Divers Gem 100-8. The 4:15, first Late Call 6-1, second Irish Gamble 2-1, third Dash It 6-1. And the 4:45, first Stone the Crows 100-7, second Mariuccia 6-4 on favourite, and third Village Cop 100-9.
And from racing straight to Rugby League.
Division 1, Bramley 19, Wakefield Trinity 10, Castleford 18, Workington 7, Featherstone 10, Swinton 11, Huddersfield 22, Halifax 3, Hull 17, Leeds 9, Oldham 10, Warrington 15, Widnes 2, St Helens 25, Wigan 19, Hull Kingston Rovers 15, and Division 2, Batley 15, Whitehaven 7, Blackpool Borough 12, Barrow 5, Keighley 35, Liverpool 4, York 38, Bradford Northern 0.
Bottom of the first division, Leyton Orient relegated definitely this season. 21 points from 39 games. They definitely go down to the second division football for them next season. Manchester City are just above them, 28 from 38. Then Birmingham 29 from 38. And it looks as if it's between those two clubs as to who will go down with Leyton Orient. Well, now the late results. Division 2, Grimsby 0, Derby 0. The leaders, Stoke City 2, Scunthorpe 3. Portsmouth 2, Cardiff City 0. In Division 3, Colchester 3, Southend 1. Coventry 0, Port Vale 1. In Division 4, Barrow 0, Torquay 0. Brentford 2, Chesterfield 1. Newport 3, Stockport 1, and Tranmere and Aldershot still to come through. Just let's stay with that board for a moment. Brentford there in Division 4 stretched their lead at the top of the table to 2 points. Just up to Division 3 there. Coventry City surprisingly beaten at home there by Port Vale. That doesn't put paid to their promotion chances, but it really gives them a very severe knock indeed. And in Division 2 there, Stoke City, the league leaders, beaten at home by Scunthorpe. Well, that's the end of our programme for this week. We'll be back with you next week with the whole of the Rugby League Cup final direct from Wembley. Till then, goodbye.